It started with the sound of heels clicking, sinking, then squelching in the soft spring mud of Serenity Hollow Ranch. I was hauling a salt block to the pasture when I heard her voice, shrill and sharp like a fork dragged across porcelain. "These animals," she snapped, glaring down at my horses from atop a pair of designer pumps now 3 inches deep in my dirt, "are contaminating a shared water source." That was my first encounter with Margot Whitmore, the new HOA president from the neighboring gated community, Riverside Heights. She stood there in a bone-white suit, holding a laminated binder like it was a holy book, her perfectly coiffed hair still miraculously unmoved by the wind. To her, my old gelding Roscoe, just peacefully drinking from the pond, was apparently a threat to civilization itself. And me? I was just the ignorant rancher ruining the view. I didn't respond right away. Instead, I glanced over at my daughter, June. She was 8, barefoot, her hand buried in Roscoe's mane. She didn't look scared. She looked insulted on behalf of the horse. Roscoe didn't move a muscle, was older than half the fence posts on this land and twice as stubborn. The pond in question wasn't some HOA amenity. It had been here long before the development up on the hill, before any bylaws were written, before Margot learned to weaponize environmental codes. My granddad dug it out by hand in '62. My dad laid the first stone fence beside it. I learned to fish here. June learned to float here. That water's got more of our family's blood in it than anything else. Margot didn't care. She gestured toward it like it was a crime scene. "You have 24 hours to remove all livestock from within 100 feet of this water source, or I will escalate the matter to county authorities and legal counsel." She turned on her heels, tried to, anyway, and nearly fell over. Her BMW was parked halfway down my gravel road, blocking the gate like she owned the place. The dust she kicked up didn't bother me. What bothered me was the look in her eyes when she stared at the pond. It wasn't about water. It wasn't about health. It was greedier, possessive greed. That night, I sat on the porch with June. She asked, "Daddy, why's that lady so mad at water?" I looked at the pond, calm and silver in the moonlight. "She's not mad at the water, baby. She wants it." Over the next week, things got worse. Margot didn't go to the counter. She went online. Nextdoor, Facebook groups, HOA message boards. She never mentioned me by name, but her posts were full of phrases like irresponsible livestock management, agricultural runoff, and community at risk. Then came the photos. Grainy, long-distance shots of Roscoe and the other horses drinking peacefully. She added filters, twisted the colors, made it look like they were sloshing through a toxic swamp. She added ominous music to the video, seriously, horror movie music. The worst part? People started believing her. Folks I'd known for years, people who bought hay from me every fall, started giving me cold looks in town. At the feed store, Mrs. Collier ducked behind an aisle when she saw me. A neighbor crossed the street instead of waving. Margot's poison worked fast. I felt like I was sinking. Then I remembered someone who didn't buy into small-town gossip. My old friend Nathan. We grew up fixing fences and riding dirt bikes, but Nathan took to computers like I took to cattle. These days he ran tech security for small businesses and off-grid ranches. I called him, told him what was happening. He didn't laugh. He said, "Give me 3 nights." We set up a network of tiny cameras, camouflaged like rocks and tree knots. Motion sensitive, night vision capable, all feeding into a secure cloud server. Nathan even mounted one up in the old windmill for a wide view of the whole pond. "You don't fight shadows," he said. "You light 'em up." 3 nights later, the alert buzzed my phone. It was 2:53 a.m. I tapped the screen, and there she was, Margot, dressed in black workout gear, standing at the pond with 2 men in suits. One held a sonar scanner, sweeping the water's surface. The other had a tablet and was taking soil samples. They moved like they owned the place, totally unfazed by the fact they were trespassing. Margot pointed, directed, looked like a general surveying her prize. I brought the footage to the sheriff the next morning. Deputy Halverson wasn't exactly known for taking sides, but his eyes narrowed when he saw the video. "These boys ain't from the county," he said, rewinding the footage. And that's not environmental testing, that's prospecting. Turns out, Margot had ties to a company called Silverstone Holdings. They were buying up land all over the county, repackaging it into eco-luxury communities. The pond? It sat atop an underground aquifer rich in mineral deposits. We didn't know it yet, but they were hiding something down there, a black Pelican case filled with encrypted drives, offshore ledgers, and everything they didn't want found. Margot's mistake? Filing a formal complaint against me for surveillance harassment. She claimed my cameras were pointed at a public access waterway. But my deed, which my grandfather had notarized and bound in leather, said otherwise. That kicked off an investigation and not against me. The inspection came on a Thursday. County scientists in white vans. Margot showed up in a brand new Patagonia vest, talking like she was an expert in soil erosion. The team ran their tests, pH levels, bacteria counts, everything. Result? The water was cleaner than most bottled brands. No contaminants. No violations. Margot lost it. He's hiding it, she screamed, lunging toward me. Atlas, our youngest stallion, stepped between us. Calm as a saint. Gave her one big shoulder check, and she stumbled, fell backward right into the pond she claimed was poisoned. She didn't just fall. She landed hand first on something buried beneath the silt. Her expression changed. Confusion. Horror. Then silence. Detective Halverson waded in. Retrieved the object. Two of them, actually. One was that black Pelican case, modern, sealed, full of hard evidence. The other? An old corroded strongbox. Inside were letters. A diary. Turns out, Margot's great-grandfather sold this land to my great-grandfather after a barn fire left them destitute. It wasn't stolen. It was saved. Her whole vendetta was based on a Leah story passed down from a bitter family who couldn't accept their own failure. She took a plea deal. Silverstone Holdings collapsed. The FBI got involved. Nathan's footage made national news. My name, my land, my horses, they were cleared. These days, June walks Roscoe down to the water every morning. The pond's quiet again. But to me, it's louder than ever. It tells a story. A warning. You can poison the well with lies. But the truth always rises back to the surface. Now let me ask you this. Have you ever watched someone fall so deep into their own lies, they couldn't tell truth from legend anymore? Do you think Margot deserved that fall, or was she just a product of a broken legacy? Let me know in the comments. And hey, share this with someone who still believes HOA bylaws are always about safety. Because out here, sometimes safety is just a mask greed wears when it wants your land.